before we go, I want to show you guys how I start a data log. Oh, one other thing, you cannot run both at the same time, not at the moment. They may be working on that in the future, I think. So for right now, while we're tuning, I just leave this up because it's easier. So key on, so you want to come up here and connect to ECU. See, it's connected. And then you just want to start a log. It's that simple. You just click the button and then it says stop. So when you're ready, you just stop it. I don't know what the audio is going to sound like, but here's a true cold start. This thing is ice cold. Let's see. I may have to give it some throttle because, like I said, we've not tuned this part yet. Holy shit. Look. Holy shit. No input. It's like 50 degrees. Ooh, that sounds good, baby. Let me go let the door up. Sounds healthy. Ignition advance is sitting at 18. IAC positions at 60 and lowering, so the car will idle down. All right, let's go for a quick drive. Just so you guys know, this is probably going to be fairly raw and long because I just want you to see the experience without a whole lot of this and that, me talking. I will talk some, but anyway, stop talking, Nikita, just go, just drive. Let me break in here. I know I said I wasn't going to talk a lot. I just want to let you know this video is kind of backwards. The tuning portion that we did before we drove the car is going to be at the end of the video. The driving portion I thought was probably the most important. I'm going to leave it very long and very raw. I'm doing this for you guys. That's what you said you wanted, so I'm giving it to you. That sounds disgusting. Anyway, let's go ahead and get back to the video. Any of those little stutters? That was. Any of those little stutters that you hear are from the camshaft. This camshaft still lopes, still hits up to like 2200, something like that. So, and this car's not up to temp yet. It's 122 degrees. First off, we need to go put some fuel in it. Remember guys, this is a solid roller cam. We're going to take off in a second, or try to. May be too cold for that. I did straighten the wheel out a little with my little makeshift line up. Old ride up here, I can't tell what it is. Alright, let me get some gas. I'll be back.
Damn, boy, that probably sounds good.
I appreciate it.
Damn. That other one sounded good, but I think this one sounds even better, you know? Boy, that's a mean kind of motherfucker.
I appreciate it. I'm out tuning and videoing right now, so. Back on the road, we got us a little gas. Shouldn't have any issues. Okay. Car is now up to temp. So we're at 176, and it's going to run a little different, or should run a little better here because this is where we've tuned it at. back roads and stuff. I may roll into it up here. Yeah, let's roll into it in a second. What do you think? We're in fourth gear. I can't see my GPS, but fourth gear, probably 45 mile an hour right now. 2,000 RPM, solid roller, 327 gears, big ass heads, big intake. And I don't know what to say. Here's the other thing. What about the exhaust on this car, guys? This has got 3-inch exhaust all the way out, Spintex, and I feel like I don't have to yell. It's pretty quiet in here. Well, quiet, but a lot quieter than the 65, and it's got 6,000s on it. These are Spintech 9,000s. So, I'm trying to think if there was anything else that I really wanted to speak about with you guys. You know, I guess we could really quickly talk about why you would want a kit like this over a multiport. If you already have a multiport, just, you know, stay multiport. Or if you just want to try something different, yeah, I think it's worth it to try. What are the benefits from having a TBI over a multiport? I don't think there's really any benefits other than if you were trying to retrofit something. You know what I mean? Like if you had an older vehicle, let's say like Pop's truck. So if we had Pop's truck and we wanted to retrofit it, make it fuel injection, obviously this is the way to go. Or if you already had a car that was carbureted, maybe like a Fox body that was carbureted and you wanted the luxury of fuel injection, this would be the kit for you. Or there again, you know, if you just want to try something different. They just have their own tuning quirks. They all do. Listen to that cam, y'all, listen. I'm driving this car. I need to make a video about how excited I am to be able to just drive the car. Like all this happened so quickly. Driving this car to work, I'm telling you, driving it to work. And now that I've tightened up the wheel bearings and adjusted the front a little, it's really not that bad at all. What up, Nate? Joe Nate's house back over there. You guys can't see it. So, this is it. This is our drive. What do you guys think? I think it's pretty crazy. Find fuel pressure. We'll have to go. Yeah, fuel pressure's good. I think I got a universal joint that needs to be replaced. This thing's, yeah. I think it's a drive shaft and the tires, a mixture of all that. But it does drive better, for sure. And no, I'm not going to hit this thing in first gear. I know a lot of you probably want me to. It's got a stock T5 in it. I'm not, and it's on slicks. idea really how much this car means to me for a bunch of different reasons. And to have it back on the road this easily with an old worn out grinded T5 that I had laying around with an ear broken off of it, a stock O'Reilly clutch. It's back. You guys see the combination, see the ingredients for happiness. It's not super high dollar. We're back driving this car with a pieced together transmission, an engine that sat on the engine stand for over a year that was a race engine, never probably been on the street. Put it on the street, driving it around, did a little alignment ourselves. I got a smile on my face. You guys see what I'm saying? My point is, stop waiting around for the best of the best parts. Stop waiting around for 1,000, 1,500 horsepower. Just go get in your and make it go up and down the road. How about do that? I think you'd be a lot happier. Let's see, temp-wise, we're at 180. I don't understand it, but I'll take it. Fox squirrel. You don't ever see those hardly. Also, this whole time we've been logging, so we have a log. It will self-learn. It's learning right now, so it'll start to make changes. So the more you drive it, we've got the learn set to 15%. Compensation, I guess, would be a good way for you to maybe understand what it's doing. It'll compensate 15%, either more fuel or less fuel, whatever it needs to do, which is a good amount. That'll help you a lot. You don't really need any more than that. I mean, you could, but I just love how it returns to idle. So good, y'all. Every once in a while you can hear that little dead spot, or I don't really want to call it a dead spot because it's not that, but a bog just as you're ever so slightly tipping in. That can still, again, be worked out, but those are some of the things that you'll kind of have to deal with. I'm fine with it. I'll tell you guys that. I'm fine with it. All right, well, I think I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to go to the store, grab myself a Monster, something like that. Go holler at my boys at O'Reilly's, hang out with them for a little while. Call this one a day. Fifth gear. Shit. Come on, guys, come on. All right, let's wrap this up. Car's running great. I'll see you guys back in the house. We'll talk. I think that this fills a void that is really kind of untapped at the moment, that I don't think a lot of people are really thinking about. And I kind of touched on it before, but I think it really kind of comes back to, like, if you've got a carbureted Fox body or whatever, let's say car, okay? If you got a carbureted car right now and you want to go fuel injection and you don't want to have to buy up or low or throttle body, injectors, all of this stuff, fuel rails, this could be an option for you. Because it's literally, if you already have a carbureted intake, you just drop it right on, right? It saves you a lot of time, a lot of money. And there's the rooster. And it works. I mean, you guys saw it, it works. Now, you make your decision whether it's right for you or not. I'll give a follow-up video on it here in probably 3 or 4 days, a week. Also, I get a lot of questions before we go about fuel pressure. Fuel pressure can be set anywhere from 43 pounds to 60 pounds. Just whatever you set it at out here, match it on the computer. It's f***ing chicken. Why did I buy a f***ing rooster? I'm gonna wrap this video up, and as always, thanks for watching. Here in probably 3 or 4 days, a week. Also, fuel pressure is set at 40. Match it on the computer. I'm gonna have chicken nuggets tonight. He's got to go.
We ain't on the same shit, no way. You ain't from my planet, we don't speak the same language. This is an occasion, ain't it? I'm feeling good and hated, but I don't recognize these faces. Yeah, where you from, where you came? Started in the basement, made it way up to the top. Now I'm in the spaceship, Swear your life is wasted. All you do is sit around the house, you getting faded. That ain't entertainment, yeah. You every single shot that you ain't taking. Hey kid, you could use a little bit of your imagination. It could do you right, improve a life you busy wasting. Said it's your money if you make it, otherwise it's just a conversation. Okay.
All right, you guys are gonna have to excuse my voice. I'm a little under the weather. So in our last video, we got the car out, drove it a little bit, and we had just started on the tuning side of things. So I want to update you guys. We're going to go for a ride along in the car. We're going to talk about the kit. I'm going to show you a little bit of tuning, and hopefully this helps you decide whether you want one or not. Now, I'm going to reserve the option of telling you whether to buy it or not. I'm going to give you some good, and I'm going to give you some bad. Now, what I'm going to do, my plan is to come back here in probably a week or so after really driving the car around, and then I will either tell you I recommend it or not, okay? As of right now, I do like it, but we need to make sure everything is gonna be good because this is something completely new for me and my channel, and I wanna make sure we're doing this thing right. This is not going to be a how-to tune your car. The tuners are out there for that. We've been working with Justin and Willie, so you guys are welcome to go over and check them out if you need some help on tuning. I'm just showing you the options of this. So this is going to be just like your sensors and your engine idle, couple of things that you're going to really need to kind of monitor and take care of. Like when you're driving the car, this is typically what I look at if I'm data logging. Here's your strip chart. It's just going to show you a live feed of what the car is doing. You can see over here, battery, runtime, RPM, map, mat. You can also edit this and put whatever you want to over here. There again, these are more like while you're driving, okay? And here's some gauges. You can move these things around. See, I wish there was a little better setup on that, but it does work. I have moved mine around, made them a little larger. All right, once you pass this little line right here, you're going to get into your tuning. You're going to see this thing swap over. See where it says tuning, it's lit up in green. I hope you guys can see it. And over here, it's monitor. There's a couple settings in here you guys really probably don't need to mess with, but you can pick your cam type and all that. And what that's gonna do is change your VE map, whether it be like stock would have less fuel, mild would have more, race would have the most. Most of you are not gonna need race. Even with the cam that's in this car and the heads and everything, we don't need race. So these are your sensors here. I'm not gonna really get into that. This is where you're really gonna start tuning. This is your idle right here, this little engine. So each one has its own category. So your fuel, your idle, your spark. And if you look up here at the top, it creates a drop-down window. So when you do that and click on one, you've got all the options that are in this area right here you see are now over here in this. So one of the things that I have had to fix is the follow air decay ratio. That's gonna be how quickly the car comes down from the IAC. So if it idles up and the IAC is holding, this is how quickly in percent you want it to drop. So the higher the percent, the more it'll drop. Mine is at 30, I think that is as high as it goes. A couple other things in here you can play. if you feel like it. Let's move on down. Configuration, after start, air decay. So this is your after start air decay type. You can pick simple or 1D table. I like to pick 1D table because if you pick simple, it's just going to be a very on-off type situation. When you pick 1D table, it's referring to this over here. So that's what it's going to do. So when we click this, now you got all these options down here that it's going to try to control idle with. So you can go through here, you can change a few of these if you need to. You shouldn't mess anything up doing this, and you can always go back to your original tune. So, all right, spark. Here's one of the first areas that you're gonna need. So if you go down here to static timing, this is what a lot of people are gonna need to know. Static timing is right here, you see it, it says 30 degrees. I'm gonna turn the camera around for this. This is very simple, okay? Static timing, when you enable that and you pick it, static timing is what the computer sees as a number. So you pick a number. I usually pick 30, but you can pick 20, 15, 12, 11, 8, whatever the number is you want to pick. And when you set it on the computer, you go out to the harmonic balancer, you check it with a timing light and adjust until it matches what that computer says. Think about why you're doing that. Let's say it's commanding 20 degrees of timing on the computer, right? That number's 20. But you've got this thing actually set, the balancer set at 30. You're 10 degrees too high. So once this thing starts advancing and now it's not calling for 20, now it's calling for 34, you're at 44 degrees of timing, and that could be very bad. So it's just very important that you match your timing up, okay? That's what this is. But there's something you need to know because it's not as simple as just picking this number and going out and checking it, right? So let me show you. So in the next section down, you'll see lock ignition timing, which is right there. How you activate that 20, 30, 12, 11, whatever degrees you picked is going to be right here. When you select this and go to lock, lock is going to read that number that you chose. That way you can go out and check your balancer. As soon as you verify that everything matches, you just turn it off. You go to unlock again. All right, and that goes back to working with the tables down here. So let me show you. Right here, that's what it's going to refer to. It's also got a little help button up here that helps you out, kind of understand a lot of this stuff. So it's right up here. You can click that and you'll see a little pop-up will come up over here. There's really no information. This is just timing. So this is going to ultimately be your main timing table. But y'all need to understand that it is a little different than other systems. So also there's a startup base map. So this is going to be like your cranking timing, I think, on that. I'm not 100% sure. Pretty sure that's what that is. Next up is going to be idle base. This is your idle timing, where you want this thing to idle at. So it's pretty simple, but either way you can go over here and pick that, whatever you want. And then you have your follow base timing. This is the one that threw me off the most. Follow base timing is this. When you come out of the throttle, it's going to revert back to these numbers here. So kind of like while you're cruising and you let off the throttle, instead of holding 32 degrees of timing like you had back here on this other map, it's going to kind of default back to this. That's really the only thing you need to know that's different about this software is it has 3 to 4 different maps that you kind of have to know. Now we're over here on the fueling side. There's a little injector. You can click this. Whether you want to enable, disable, fuel loop, learn loop, you can do all that over here. D-cell cutoff, we don't want any of that. 1D table, and you have a 2D table. Now, over here, there are a few things that you might want to mess with right here. So this is acceleration correction versus TPS. This is like a pump shot from a carburetor. So as you step on the throttle, it's going to give a little extra fuel, right? Think of it this way. So at 10% throttle, it's giving 120% more fuel. The biggest thing you guys need to know about is static timing. Over here, just some custom stuff. You can set your fan temperature. So we've got mine set pretty high because this car runs really cool and we need to get it up to temperature. So down here, if you get the Royal Flush, you're gonna have all these options for launch retard. You're gonna have nitrous trigger. You have all sorts of stuff that you can play with, okay? So if you want to data log, it has its own data logger as well. You just click this. I actually think I already have it pulled up. Yeah. So here's your data log. This is how you work it. You can kind of zoom in and zoom out. It's actually a really, really good data logger. You can just take this, scroll across until you find like I always look for my TPS points. So there you go. There's the 2 pulls that I made. There's your air fuel ratio tied in. Let's see, actual AFR. Ignition advance. All right, so this is how I do this. I go through, I look, I say, okay, that's 94% TPS. I come out of the throttle, grab another gear, 94 TPS. You can see your RPM. You can see your AFR. So this thing's still pretty rich up there up top, but we just did pull some fuel out of it, so maybe that'll help it. But this is your data logger as well. If you want to know how to start a log, just go right up here, click start log. I don't want to get too caught up in all of that stuff because we'll probably do another video with like Willie or Justin, one of the tuners at least, to help you guys better understand that. I'm not a tuner, especially with this system, because it is a little more tricky, but they do have a lot of options in there, and to be honest with you, it's loaded with stuff. So I've been working hard on the Calypso trying to get this thing dialed in. One of the big issues that we had with this car was the steering. I think y'all probably remember me fussing about it, like the steering wheel's all cocked and shakes. Well, last night I got this thing on the lift, started looking around, and found several issues. One being the wheel bearings were loose, very loose actually. I don't know why I did it that way, but I did that for sure. There's no doubt about it. I had the car up on the rack and kind of moved the wheels, and it was just clunk, 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 clunk. Those are brand new bearings. So anyway, I did, you know, what you're supposed to do is just tighten them down, right? Not replace them. So I did that, got them tightened back, and I think we'll be good at least for a little while. That should help with the way it drives. I recentered the wheels as best I can with what I have, just by eye. And hopefully that'll help the way the car drives a little bit. I lowered it a little bit more in the front, which it has coilovers. I lowered the back a little bit to give it more of a tough stance. You know me, guys, I don't like them sitting up like that. The turn downs that were on this car were actually not traditional turn downs. They were mufflers. They were a race muffler off Ben's car, off his white car. So this is what was inside of them rattling around. So I dug all that out. So hopefully maybe it sounds a little better now. We definitely won't have that rattle. Let's see what else. So the steering shaft. I'm under the car looking around last night. Oh shit. A big hole in the shaft, no bolt. Where it connects coming out of the column, yeah, nothing. So luckily it didn't move at all. It's kind of bound up in there. But I went ahead, put a bolt in that, just went back over the car, real good, looked at it, and honestly, I'm pretty surprised this thing's not leaking any oil. It does drip a little bit from the valve cover. It needs a PCV setup on it. It needs some type of either pump or something. So we'll get to that at some point, but it's got a little drip here and there. Also cleaned my headers up from the first setup that I had that just poured oil all over my brand new ceramic coated headers. Got all that done. Anyway, you guys don't care about that. Where are we at? So let's move on to my thoughts so far on this kit. Well, I like it. I like it a lot. But with that being said, it is different than obviously like a Terminator X or a multi-port setup, which ACES does offer. They offer a multi-port. So if you guys are interested in that, they have that as well. About 9 of those revisions were my fault. I did exactly what I told you guys not to do, which was send your tuner a freaking car that you've messed with and you've tweaked settings in and not tell him. That's exactly what I did. I sent the car over, or not sent to him, but called him up, he remotes in, he starts tweaking my tune. Yeah, I had some shit in there all messed up. I mean, he was working around it, but finally we realized that that was the issue, because Willie had sent a bass tune, like just one from scratch, and it ran pretty good with hardly no dead spot in it. So that kind of cued me and Justin into, man, there's probably something embedded in here deep down in these settings. So he started over with a bass tune and tweaked it from there and got it good. Your tune's probably gonna run anywhere from 4 to 450 for a complete tune. Also remember, guys, that there's the Killshot, not the Royal Flush, but you can get a Killshot for most applications. Is gonna be fine for about $700-800. And then by the time you get the tune in it, I mean, you probably got $1,200 and a complete system that you can put on your car, and that runs really good. That's already been tuned, right? All right, so anyway, so if you're wondering, well, what does a TBI setup actually mean? What is that? It's obviously this throttle body here. It's the way it's designed. So I'll take the little air cleaner off. You guys like my little dinky air cleaner? It's the only thing I can find that would fit. All right, so
TBI stands for throttle body injection. Makes sense, right? It's basically throttle bodies up here. It's got a TPS over here on this side. This is what you would call a TBI setup. One of the things that are going to be different with this is as you tip in on like a carburetor, you do this. I know a lot of you guys are freaking out right now, right? But fuel injection, we don't have to worry about that. But it also is part of the problem. The fact that we don't have to worry about that should tell you something. Now, what do I mean by that? On a carburetor, you have accelerator pumps. And as you pull this throttle back, it squeezes a pump and gives you a little pump shot of gas right before the blades open up in the front and then in the rear as you transition. This does not have that. So it's relying on injector data to try to get enough fuel in here. So oftentimes it causes a little bit of a hiccup or a stumble. It can usually be worked out. I'm just telling you guys, that's one of the things that you will notice. I mean, it reads TPS, it knows how far you've got the throttle open, and it puts more fuel in there based off of vacuum or KPA or boost. What does all that mean? Well, it means it's just gonna work a touch different from a carburetor. I'll tell you what, let me show you guys. Remember when I said on a carburetor, when you move this, you get a pump shot? Look right there, and you'll see gas. See that? And then on the back, it'll do the same thing, watch. So obviously this system doesn't have that. So it's gotta react really fast. The reason why I'm telling you guys this is because it could cause a little bit of a bobble. And you really need a tuner that understands TBI because they're different than port injection, like your traditional injector in each port type setup. Those react so quickly because they're already down in the hole, right? If you're wondering like, well, my shit doesn't have a pump shot on it, on my fuel injected setup, and it works fine. Yeah, it's because it's already way down in here and it doesn't have very far to go. This has to travel from up here down. I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm just letting you know that might be one of the things that you run into. Can it be fixed? Absolutely, it can be fixed. Or it can be almost not noticeable, not an issue, okay? I just want to let you guys know that. That's the only issue that we really run into, and you will see a little bit of a higher idle if the car is rich because it'll open the idle air control valve up and try to get a little extra air in to calm everything down. So it basically kind of idles a little different off throttle if it senses that it's a little rich, okay? There again, all this stuff can be tuned. I'm just letting you guys know. So I love the startup on this thing. I love the fact that the idle is just so consistent when it's just sitting there chilling. I mean, the timing's doing its thing, trying to keep itself like balanced and idling good. I love that. Fuel economy seems to be better. Not that I really give a crap, but I'm just saying. It does seem to be better because it's not just dumping a bunch of crap in there that it doesn't need. Simplicity. I love the simplicity of this, and I absolutely love the way it looks. I know some of you don't like the way this thing looks. I've heard it in the comments, like, I wish it looked like blah, blah, blah. I love it. It's so simple. It's awesome. I am running an MSD style distributor, which is actually ACES, their distributor, but it's basically an MSD distributor. And it's locked out on the inside. I control timing from inside the car with the tune and the tune only. So there we go. There's my thoughts on some of the issues you might run into and a lot of the things that I love about it.